Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'd love it if you could leave a comment letting me know where you're listening from around the world. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video. Story 1. I've been driving trucks for the better part of 20 years, and I've seen my fair share of strange things on the road. Drunk drivers weaving through lanes like they've got a death wish. Hitchhikers who don't look quite right. Too still, too silent. The occasional shadow moving where no shadow should be. But nothing has ever scared me like what I saw on that empty stretch of highway between Oklahoma and Texas. It was just after midnight, a time when the world seems to shrink, leaving you alone with nothing but the hum of your engine and the darkness pressing in from all sides. I was hauling a load of industrial equipment, nothing unusual, and had been on the road for hours with another 4 to go before I could pull over for some shut-eye. The highway was deserted. No cars ahead, none behind. Just me, the road, and an endless black sky dotted with cold stars. That's when I saw her. She stood by the side of the road, barely visible in the dim glow of my headlights. A woman, barefoot, wearing a long white dress that fluttered slightly in the wind. She didn't weigh me down. She didn't move at all. Just stood there, staring. Her eyes, I swear to God, they weren't normal. Empty, hollow, like the light had gone out of them a long time ago. I've picked up hitchhikers before, but something in my gut screamed at me to keep going. So I did. I tightened my grip on the wheel and kept my foot steady on the gas. My truck rumbled past her, and for a split second, as I looked out my window, I thought I saw her mouth move. Not like she was talking, like she was gasping for air. A shiver ran up my spine, but I forced myself to keep my eyes on the road. Just a woman, I told myself. Maybe she needed help, but it wasn't safe for me to stop in the middle of nowhere. There were rules about that. Then I made the mistake of looking in my rearview mirror. She was gone, not walking away, not turning around, just gone, like she'd never been there at all. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. My pulse thudded in my ears. I tried to tell myself I'd imagined it, that maybe she had ducked into the bushes, but my hands were slick on the wheel. I knew better, and then my truck jerked, hard, like someone had grabbed the wheel. I swore and fought against it, yanking the steering wheel back into place. The truck swerved violently before I finally got it under control. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. That's when I saw her again, standing in the middle of the road. I barely had time to slam the brakes. The truck screeched to a stop, the tires skidding against the pavement. My headlights illuminated her completely now, and for the first time, I saw her up close. She wasn't just barefoot. She was covered in mud. Her dress, which I'd thought was white, was streaked with dirt and something darker, something that might have been blood. Her arms hung limply at her sides, her head tilted just slightly to the left. Her mouth opened. No sound came out, and then, before my brain could catch up, she vanished. Right there. 1 second she was standing in my high beams. The next, nothing. I didn't think. I just floored it. I didn't stop. Not until I reached the next gas station, nearly an hour away. My hands were shaking as I pulled in, my breath coming in ragged gasps. The guy behind the counter looked up as I walked in, his face weathered with age, the kind of guy who had seen it all. He took one look at me, pale and sweating, and nodded like he already knew. "You saw her, huh?" I swallowed hard, my throat dry. "Who is she?" The old man sighed and leaned on the counter. Been out there for years. Some say she's looking for a ride. Others say she's waiting for the man who left her out there to die. I didn't ask any more questions. I didn't want to know. I just paid for my coffee, got back in my truck, and made damn sure to never take that route again. Story 2. I was dead tired when I left work that night. You know, the kind of tired where your bones feel hollow and your brain is wrapped in cotton? That was me. I just wanted to get home, maybe eat some leftover pizza, and pass out. The roads were nearly empty, just the way I liked it. The street lights stretched long fingers across the pavement, and the occasional flicker made it feel like the world was blinking. Then I noticed the truck. At first, it was just another pair of headlights in my rearview mirror, a big, hulking shape maybe 50 yards back. An old Ford, if I had to guess. One of those boxy ones that looked like it belonged in a country song. No big deal, except it was getting closer. Too close. I was going 5 over the speed limit, but this thing was tailgating me like I had cut it off. I changed lanes, figuring they were just in a hurry. The truck changed lanes, too. Okay, weird. I sped up. So did they. Now, I was really starting to feel it. The prickling sensation at the base of my neck, the way my fingers clenched the steering wheel a little tighter. I checked my mirror again. The headlights were bright, too bright, almost white instead of yellow. I couldn't see the driver, just the outline of the truck, massive and hulking, like it had crawled out of some forgotten junkyard. I took the next exit. It wasn't my usual route home, but I wasn't about to lead this psycho to my front door. The truck followed. By now, my heart was pounding. I pulled out my phone, my fingers fumbling to dial 911. But before I could hit the button, the truck's high beams blasted on. I went blind. White-hot light flooded my car, swallowing the dashboard, erasing the road. My pupils shrank to pinpricks, and for a second, I thought I was going to crash. I gritted my teeth and kept going. The truck's engine roared behind me, so close now that I swore I could feel the heat of it pressing against my bumper. I saw a gas station up ahead. Bright lights, cameras, people. I jerked the wheel and veered into the parking lot, tires screeching against the pavement. My heart slammed against my ribs as I threw the car in a park, hands shaking. The truck didn't stop. It sped up. I caught a glimpse of the driver's side window as it passed, and there was no one inside. No driver. No hands on the wheel. Just a big, empty cab and a truck that shouldn't have been able to move on its own. It roared past me and disappeared into the night, swallowed by the highway's darkness like it had never been there at all. I sat in my car, hands shaking, heart trying to climb up my throat. I stayed there for an hour before I could bring myself to drive home. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part came the next morning, when I stepped outside and saw my car. The windshield was covered in handprints. Not just one or two, dozens. Faint smears of greasy, dirt-streaked fingers dragged across the glass, like something had been crawling all over my car in the night. I scrubbed them off, but I swear, sometimes when I drive alone at night, I still see headlights in my rearview mirror, too bright, too close, following me home. Story 3. I've been an Uber driver for almost 3 years now, and I've seen all kinds of people. Drunks who can't remember their own address, couples fighting in my back seat, businessmen glued to their phones. But nothing comes close to what happened that night. It was late, real late. The kind of late where the roads feel emptier than they should, and the darkness seems heavier, like it's pressing in from all sides. It had been a slow night, and I was just about ready to head home when a request popped up on my screen. Michael, pickup location, some old diner off the highway, a place I'd never seen before. I didn't even know it was still open. I almost ignored it, but something about that stretch of road gave me the creeps. The sooner I got someone out of there, the better. I pulled up to the diner, and let me tell you, it looked like a place time forgot. The neon sign was flickering, half the letters burned out. So it just read instead of diner. The parking lot was cracked, full of weeds, and not a single car was in sight. No staff, no customers, just a lone figure standing under the weak glow of a street lamp. He was already watching me, a man in his 40s, maybe older, dressed in a wrinkled button-up and dark pants. He wasn't carrying anything, no phone, no wallet in hand, nothing. Just standing there. I unlocked the door. Click. He slid into the back seat without a word. His clothes were damp, like he'd been caught in the rain. But the weird part? It hadn't rained all day. And the smell, God, the smell like wet leaves and dirt, the kind of scent that clings to you after walking through a graveyard at night. Michael, I asked, my voice coming out tighter than I expected. A slow nod. All right. Some people just aren't talkers. I started driving. The ride was supposed to be 15 minutes. 15 minutes down an empty stretch of highway with nothing but trees on either side. He didn't say a word, didn't fidget, didn't check his phone. He just stared out the window, watching the trees blur past. I kept glancing at him in the rearview mirror. His face was pale, drawn, like someone who hadn't slept in weeks. His fingers twitched slightly on his lap, not moving much, just enough to make my skin crawl. After about 10 minutes, the silence was killing me. Rough night, I asked, forcing a small chuckle. He turned his head slowly, too slowly, until his eyes met mine in the mirror. And then, in a voice barely above a whisper, he said, I shouldn't be here. Every hair on my body stood up. What? I asked, my voice shaking just a little. No answer. He just kept staring. My throat went dry. I swallowed, forced myself to focus on the road. I could feel his gaze burning into the back of my head. My fingers tightened on the wheel. Oh, where exactly are we headed? I asked, suddenly unsure if I even wanted to know. No answer. I risked another glance in the mirror. The seat was empty. I slammed the brakes. Hard. The tires screeched, and the car fishtailed before coming to a stop in the middle of the road. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. I turned around so fast I almost gave myself whiplash. Nothing. The back seat was completely, utterly empty. The door hadn't opened. No footsteps. No sound. He was just gone. I sat there, gripping the wheel, breathing like I just run a marathon. The car was eerily silent, except for the faint hum of the engine. Then I did the only thing I could think of. I grabbed my phone and checked the Uber app. The ride wasn't there. No record of pickup. No trip in progress. No Michael. It was like the request had never existed. My stomach twisted. I stared at the screen, hoping it was some kind of glitch, but deep down I knew better. I felt it. The wrongness in the air. The chill still clinging to my skin. I turned the car around and drove back toward town, breaking every speed limit along the way. The next morning, I couldn't shake the feeling, so I did something I probably shouldn't have. I went back to that diner, but there was nothing there. Just an abandoned building, boarded up, covered in graffiti. The windows were shattered, the inside gutted. No tables, no counter, no neon sign. It looked like it had been shut down for years. I stood there for a long time, staring at the empty lot, trying to convince myself that I hadn't just driven a ghost. But I knew the truth. I still don't know who or what I picked up that night. But sometimes when I drive late at night, I catch glimpses of something in my rearview mirror. A man sitting in the back seat, watching